Good morning, everyone. It's late this morning, 8 a.m. on Saturday. Anyway, we're going to talk about basically decades worth of business advice in about hopefully 20 minutes. So I'm going to give you some quick lessons that I've learned and things that I've done over the years to basically make it in this business because it's not easy, and then we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But anyway, get started. You can't get rich on your own. Okay, unfortunately, you can't do it on your own. Okay, and I think a lot of people on YouTube and places like that talk about how to start a business. And clearly, I think I've shown in some of my other videos that they're not making their money doing furniture, right? They're not making their money making cabinets, right? You got some people that'll do commissions and things like that, and that does pay money, but it doesn't pay enough money to pay your rent and your car payment and your bills and so on and so forth. So you can't get rich on your own. Okay, the thing is you can't produce enough furniture on your own to make a bunch of money, right? Like you're not gonna reach escape velocity by doing it by yourself. It just is not possible. Now, if you have a brand, right, you're some very esteemed furniture maker, cabinet maker, and people are just dying to get your product, they'll pay you a lot of money, but it's still not going to be enough money to make it on your own, right? Here's a good example. If you say someone pays you $20,000 for one of your credenzas, okay, that credenza is going to take you multiple weeks to build, right? You got to build it, you got to finish it, you got to deliver it, all these kind of things. So at the end of the day, I mean, say you make 100%, right? You make $10,000, okay? That $10,000 is going to give you $120,000 a year if everything goes perfectly, which it never does, right? And that's assuming you might not have advertising, you might not have to pay for a facility to do all your work. There's all kinds of costs that go into making money, and it's very difficult to do it again on your own. Most people can't sell a credenza for $20,000. It just isn't possible. Okay, so you can't produce enough units on your own, so you're gonna have to hire other people to help you produce the kind of furniture you're going to be able to help you produce the kind of furniture you're going to need to be able to produce in order to actually get to keep some of that money for yourself. Okay. Next thing I wrote is branding will increase your margin, but it takes years, right? Like I was saying before, you can be one of these people that sells extremely high end furniture and makes maybe a comfortable living doing it, right? But you're not going to reach escape velocity just with furniture. You'll have to develop many other revenue streams in order to do this. And I've talked about that in other videos as well. Here at the Respondent Crow, we sell furniture, we sell hardware, we sell consultation, we have blogs, so we get revenue from our different social media sources, right? So there's different ways to add revenue streams to make more money aside from furniture, and that's one of the things you're probably going to have to do in order to get that escape velocity money, right? It's impossible to be good at everything, right? This is another thing that I've learned over the years. Like I'm one of these people, I love to do everything. I think nobody could do anything as good as me, and that's the extreme ego side, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But truth is, there are going to be people who are just as good at you at something or better than you, right? And a rule of thumb that I live by kind of is that if someone can do 80% of what I do, like I'm interested, right? That's good enough for me. Okay, I can deal with 80%. Because if there's anything that needs to be touched up or fine-tuned, that's definitely something that I can come in and take care of. And odds are you can teach somebody to do that stuff and they'll be able to do it, So just be aware that no matter how good you are at something, you're never going to be able to do it all. It's just not possible. There's not enough hours in the day and you'll go crazy. I've learned over the years that there's people you kind of want to cozy up to, that you want to befriend, that you want to kind of keep in your Rolodex of people that you can call in the event that things go wrong, things go right. You just want to have these kind of people for all kinds of things, and that could be other artisans, that could be lawyers, that could be people that own businesses, right? That could be family members that have key pieces of information or pearls of wisdom that have helped you over the years. You want to keep these people in the back of your mind because again, you can't do it all on your own. You can't go through life and just expect to basically bash your way through every single wall. Like there's some walls you're going to want to try and go around. Maybe you want to go over them. Maybe you can dig a tunnel and get under them. You just can't bash through everything because it's a tough way to go through life. And while no one is going to have all the answers for you, there is no book that is going to tell you like this is what you're going to have to do. There are tips that you can use to see what's coming down the highway and you can avoid it, right? So there's that kind of stuff. So you're You're not going to get rich on your own. You're not going to do it on your own. It's going to take a lot of people, and it's going to take a lot of pearls of wisdom to get you there. Another thing I've learned is just to keep great employees at any cost. And I chose that word any very carefully, right? So it's not that you should keep an employee if you can, it's you should keep them at any cost. Because the truth is, over the years, you're going to learn that most people are out to screw you. Most people aren't interested in the same things that you're interested in. Most people just want to get paid. They don't want to do the work, right? And then again, most people are going to have your standards. And so most people will let you down. And this is one of the things that's very difficult for people to understand, right? Until it happens to you. I think we all go into business or we all go into life with the idea that everyone around us, just wants the same things that we want, that everyone around us is going in the same direction. Everyone just wants to have a little bit of money, go on vacation, have some family, raise kids, all this kind of stuff. And the truth is that's not true, right? Everybody's different. Everyone's motivations are different. And you have to always be remembering that. So when you find an employee who seems to be going in the same direction that you are, and you don't have to worry about them, you don't have to have that thing in the back of your mind, like, oh, I hope so and so is busy, or oh, I'm not there to give so and so instruction, or so on and so forth. You need to hang on to that employee, right? If you get a chance to hire somebody, and when you are away from the operations, you know that that employee is going to be on task, they're going to be doing what they're supposed to do, and they actually make the people around them better. You need to really foster that employee's goals. You need to work with that employee and really get them to grow and become the person that you want them to be, because it will make your life so much easier. People that will love your company and their job at the same time are rare, right? So you need to, again, when you find that employee, like, do whatever you can to keep them, make them happy. It's worth it to pay them a higher salary than you would otherwise pay somebody in order to keep them happy. Okay, because the truth is once that employee leaves, you're going to be back searching for another employee, right? If that employee is hired away because someone else gives them a few more bucks an hour or whatever, like, you need to be willing to cough up that money, and you need to find a way to cough up that money, because in the long run, it's going to make your life easier. You might have to sacrifice something in the short term, but it'll be worth it, and that's one thing that I've learned over the years, that you have to be willing to let other people help you, and you have to be willing to cultivate and foster other people's skills, and in the hopes that they're going to be better at what they do than what you do, right? If you hire a furniture maker and that furniture maker seems to have more skills than you and is growing more as a furniture maker, you need to be willing to let those people run, right? And you need to be willing to, maybe you got to put your woodworking skills on the back end and go focus on something else within your business. If you're, you got a painter or a finisher, right? Same deal. If they're better at what they do, let them run. Give them what they need to do their job. You go focus on doing something else, because the truth is that what you're good at, someone else is better at, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to go find something else to work on, because as the owner of your company, right, you're kind of charting the course, right? You're the person that is driving the ship and figuring out where you want to go as a company, right? You get to think about, what's going to happen next year, 3 years, 5 years from now, and you don't have to necessarily focus on the day to day, right? Going in every single day, getting the cabinets made, getting the furniture made, painting, delivering, whatever it is you have to do. You can step back from that and focus on the bigger goals, which is something that you ultimately are going to need to do. Unless you want to be that person that just makes stuff every day, and then you can hire someone to run your company. That's an option as well. So hire slow and fire fast. Okay. When you bring an employee into your company, it's a big deal. And when you hire that person, you need to make sure that they understand that it's a big step for you to go and hire somebody. Unless, of course, you've been doing it forever, then maybe it's not as big of a deal. But you want to make every employee feel like when they come onto your premises and start working for you, when they clock in, whatever it is that they do, is very important. It's very valued, and you appreciate it, right? And when you hire somebody, maybe you hired the wrong person, right? That person comes in, they just aren't a good fit. You saw something in the interview process that was awesome, and then when it comes to actually working in your company, it doesn't seem to work, okay? You need to be willing to let that person go quickly, right? Because you're not doing them any favors, and you're not doing yourself any favors, right? You're not saving people. You're not out to make people better. It's a business, right? And at the end of the day, if for whatever reason that employee doesn't work out, you need to get them out of there, because you're not helping them either, right? If you're keeping somebody on in the hopes that they're going to figure it out, and they're going to become the person that you want them to be, you're lying to yourself. Okay, so just cut them loose, move on. It's going to be better for them as well. They're going to find a better fit someplace else rather than hanging on, and you're just hating it. They're hating it. Everybody is not at optimum happiness because they're just not a good fit, right? And that happens. You're going to find that most people that you hire over the years, you're going to end up parting ways with either immediately or towards the end. Like, it just, finding great employees is very difficult. And I can't stress this enough. People think that hiring people is this great, exciting thing, and it's not. It's very difficult to find people. And again, when you find them, hang on to them. It's very, the other things, you have to be prepared to make sacrifices, right? You have to be willing to do things that you would not otherwise do to keep your good help working. Okay. The thing about employees is employees don't take credit. You can't go to employees and give them a Walmart card for their payroll, right? Because they got to go off and they got to pay their rent, and so everyone needs cash. So it's very important that you're understanding if cash flow becomes a problem, things get difficult. You got to be willing to make the make the sacrifices that it's going to take to keep those employees, even if it gets slow. If they got to paint walls, if they got to clean floors, whatever it might be, it's going to be easier for you in the long run to, sell a car, sell a boat, sell, in my case, like comic books, right? Whatever it is you have to sell to make payroll so that you can get to that next good sales cycle, you need to be willing to do, right? Like, if it comes to, mortgaging your house, taking out second mortgages, whatever it is, if you have to go get a job on the side to get cash to keep your employees employed, it's a sacrifice you got to be willing to make. And it's a tough one. It was a real tough one for me, but it's something you have to be willing to do, because again, these employees are going to be the people that help you to grow your company and to keep your company going, to grow that name, right? That brand, to keep delivering on that experience that you're trying to deliver as a business owner. And without good key employees, you won't be able to do that, so you got to be ready and willing to make those sacrifices so that you can keep your people on payroll and not have to let them go. Because once an employee leaves, it's very difficult to get them to come back. Okay, now you can for sure, but it's a little bit more difficult. There's a little more reservation. The commitment and relationship is fractured, right? So it becomes very difficult. So again, be willing to do those things to keep your employees. And that's a tip that's something that I learned over the years, that just good people are very hard to find. And once you find them, like, hang on to them at all costs. So another thing I learned over the years is that marketing and advertising is essentially, you have to have it. There's just no way around it. Everyone talks about, word of mouth, right? And word of mouth is definitely awesome, and it will always help you to stay in business, and it can help you to grow your business, but it's a very slow burn, right? And there's nothing wrong with that if that's the way you want to go. But if you want to get, again, kind of escape velocity, where you're able to hire people, get out of your garage, get into an actual building, you're going to need advertising, you're going to need marketing, you're going to need these tools to help bring in the customers, right? Because if you're making things and you're trying to manage things, it's very difficult to constantly be trying to go get customers as well. You're on the phone dealing with people. Having some kind of an automated marketing strategy and an advertising strategy is going to help you to have this thing working in the background while you're doing work at your business. Okay, so it's important that you utilize things such as there's things like print media, magazines, there's mailers, there's internet, right? That's going to be your YouTube and your Instagram and your Pinterest and your Facebook, or what we call Meta, right? Things like, you can actually put pieces in silent auctions. There's places that are constantly looking for cool products to auction off. You can get some visibility there. That's not the best way, but it's another way. You can know real estate agents, right? People that are in the housing market that are constantly around people that are acquiring new homes, right? That are moving, right? That are going to need furniture, that are going to need cabinets, all these kind of things. You can befriend some general contractors, right? These are people that are, again, going to do home repairs, right? It's good to have a Rolodex of these people because they're constantly going to need things made, right? A general contractor is not making things. They're finding the people, bringing them all together and finishing a project. So if you're in their Rolodex, they're going to need stuff. So those are good people to know. Okay. The other thing is like interior designers. Designers are going to be people that they have wealthy clients that are looking to put rooms together, right? They're going to need furniture, art, textiles, wallpapers, flooring, all these kind of things. You want to know these people and be in their Rolodexes, because these people are going to constantly be looking for people. They can get you up on the phone, write you emails, all these kind of things, text messages. And it's important to have to be known by these communities, because it will help you to, again, make sales. Okay. Another thing is design studios. This is a new one for me. Okay. There's a lot of places that are into finishes, right? High-end finishes. And they want to be able to show their customers different kinds of goods, right? Customers want to be able to touch it, get their hands on it. And if you can have your wares or whatever it is you're selling in these places, there's people constantly coming into them that are already qualified customers, right? That can potentially buy your goods, okay? And that's a whole different sales model, but I can talk about that another time. So it's important to have all of these elements working within your sales and marketing strategy so that you get the maximum visibility on your product with the least amount of effort. By utilizing internet marketing and maybe print marketing, you're going to be sacrificing profits in the short term so that you can grow in the long term. Okay, you're going to be able to take it. You're taking that money that you would put in your pocket to go buy, whatever, a new car or buy some new tool or whatever you want. And you're putting that money into your marketing, right? And you're putting that money basically for eyeballs, right? So you want more people to see your product basically by being served your product. Okay, you want to be able to sacrifice those profits to make some additional goods that you can put out into the world for more people to get their eyeballs on your stuff. And what I mean by that is not a customer per se, but again, a design studio. Maybe you've given it away to a fire department, a police department, some kind of a municipality. You can do all of these things to get visibility on your products, right? But you're going to have to eat the cost of that stuff in most cases in order to get those sales at a later date. So you have to be willing to sacrifice some of these profits to get more eyeballs on your products. It's really important that you do that in the beginning. It's tough to do because you want to see something for all of your efforts, right? And it's very difficult to do that. But if you can do it, it really helps you to grow your company a little faster and be able to get to ultimately where you want to be, which is that kind of that escape velocity. Another thing I've learned over the years of doing this is that anyone can make furniture. I mean, nobody wants to hear that, but anyone can make cabinets. And truth is that your skill of making things, while valuable, is not as valuable as you might think it is, or as people tell you it is, right? Your skill in the short term is going to be making things. There's no doubt about it. But you're not going to reinvent the wheel. You're not going to come up with some design that is just revolutionary that everybody has to have, right? I hate to say it, so you need to constantly be working on your designs, and you need to be looking for holes within the furniture and cabinet industry, right? You need to be looking for things that other people aren't doing that you can kind of get into first, be an early part of that, whatever that aesthetic is, that trend, whatever it might be. So you need to be looking for those pockets, right? So if you're someone that wants to get into making tables right now, like you're probably coming in at the end of this making tables. And some people are saying, yeah, everyone's always going to need dining tables, and that's 100% true. But the thing is that it's so popular and it's so saturated right now. It's like you're not going to come in there and get a lot of traction because there's a million people trying to do that right now, right? But if you come up with some, like maybe you make the coffee table popular again by coming up with some really cool design, you can be early into that market, right? Or if you see something somebody else is doing that isn't super popular, you can get in on that thing, and then it comes around and becomes popular. You can really ride the wave of that particular trend or that particular product, and you can use that to make sales for years and then work on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, right? And as that wave is coming down, you're on the next one, that wave is coming back up, and you can kind of ride these trends for a long time. And that's what I've learned over the years, is that you'll make just tons of different kinds of furniture and cabinets over the years. But what you learn is that it's not what you're making that is special, right? You have to know what industry is doing. You have to know what your particular market is doing, right? You got to find something that is really cool and then ride that wave of popularity. And that's kind of how things work. And unfortunately, furniture, especially furniture, has cycles, right? And somebody told me a long time ago, and I think it's probably true, that furniture kind of runs in 10-year cycles, right? Like for us, faux bamboo furniture was super popular for a long time, and then it died down for a couple of years, and it's picked back up, so it's things just, that's just how they are. Like some things that are popular one year are dead, right, the next year, or they're popular for years and then they're dead for years. Like, and you just have to kind of learn what these cycles are over the years. And if you can do that, again, you're gonna always have something popular to sell. You're gonna always have something that's interesting. Another thing is that it's not always just about your furniture, okay? You can have a brand, or you can have a company that's also entertaining, right? You can be a brand that's exciting and interesting to look at, that has really cool content. Okay, that's a very important thing. Content is a part of every business's strategy, and it always has been, but now it's even more important with social media, right? And now we have this YouTube thing, and it's just super important that you put yourself out there and have something to show your customer. It's not always going to be your product. It's going to be a little bit about you as well, about your company. What do you stand for? What makes your company interesting? What is it that the values of your company? All these kind of things are important, and you can utilize those things to make your products more interesting. So it's important that you're slightly entertaining, that you have kind of an interesting view on things, that you're unafraid to be out there as a person. Right? Companies that have no personality and are stale will inevitably go out of business. You have to constantly be relevant. You constantly have to be pushing stuff out there, right? If you use the example of Coke has the polar bears in the winter. Budweiser has the Clydesdales. You can look at different really popular marketing campaigns for different kinds of companies. Remember Pepsi back in the day had Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was a big deal with the Pepsi brand, and it's very important to stay relevant and to be interesting and entertaining. So, and the last thing is that the things that you're seeing on YouTube from people talking about starting businesses and being in business, these aren't people that are making their money on their business. The reality of 2024, 2025 is that if you see YouTube woodworkers and people telling you how to start woodworking businesses, odds are they're not making their money from making furniture, right? They're making their money by clicks on YouTube, by selling t-shirts, selling coffee cups. And I've done the videos on how all these people they're kind of being dishonest, right? And I've got this here pulled up, and I did this video, I don't know, it was a week or two ago. And again, you got this really popular 731 woodworking. Like, they don't make their money from making furniture, man. They make their money on selling ads and doing tool reviews and sponsorships and stuff like that. And this same thing with the Zach Vaught guy. Like, he's selling tables and chairs, but most of that stuff's made overseas, right? They're making the tabletops here in the States, but the chairs, everything else are all outsourced, because it's too difficult to make the money here in America, and I don't know what these other ones are. We got a whole bunch of guys, where did I see again? Yeah, we got Bourbon Moth, same deal. Like the guy makes furniture before, I think it was before COVID, and the guy was making cool stuff. He's entertaining, but he's not making a living making furniture. You can't do it on your own. Here's another one. What this one say, $30,000 a month woodworking business. You're not making any money at $30,000 a month. You're not gonna get rich. Like what $360,000 a year. Like I couldn't. At the end of the day, I couldn't make my house payment, because that $360,000 a year, by the time you pay all your bills and you pay all the things it takes to run a company, I mean, what's this guy taking home? If the industry average is say 10%, this guy's taking home $36,000 a year. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? That's a lot of work for $36,000 a year. So these people, their stories are interesting and they're very entertaining, but that's where they're making their money. Okay, they're making their money telling you how to make money and trying to sell you a course and all these kind of things. That's why I'm talking about this, is because at the Resplendent Crow here, Modern Woodrunner, all this stuff, I mean, you could literally come to St. Louis, come into our shop any day of the week, look at all of our furniture, all the stuff we sell, see people making things, painting things. You can go to our website, theresplendentcrow.com, any day of the week, buy anything there, and we'll make it all right here in America. And it's really freaking hard, but it's worth it, because what else are you going to do, right? You want to go work, you want to go push paper for somebody, you want to go be an engineer and sit in a cubicle all day. It's like making furniture is the hardest thing that you'll ever love. Like, it really is. It's a tough business, but man, it's very rewarding. And Anyway, I hope this video is again is entertaining, and I hope people seem to like this kind of stuff and love to hear about the woodworking business and how we make money. But this is again been doing this for a long time. Business almost 10 years at this point. Doing it woodworking for 25 years, I think, at this point. And it's tough. It's a tough business, but I'll keep making these videos. I got a lot of cool topics to talk about, and I'll keep hope I can put a couple of these out a week because they don't take nearly as much effort as making a video on how to make a piece of furniture. So anyway, everyone have a great weekend, and I will catch y'all later.